Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the After Hours Gaming League presented by Day 9 TV and supported by Red Bull Gaming. We are in the midst of an epic semi-final battle between Epic and Twitter, where right now Epic is currently up 2-1. Who will come out on top? It's going to be whoever gets to 7 wins. Oh, excuse me, 4 wins first, as it is a best of 7. In the left corner is Team Epic playing for Doctors Without Borders. The current lead goes to them with 2 wins. Playing from behind is Team Twitter, who's playing for the charity Room to Read. Each of these teams is battling for that #1 spot, because if they get first in the After Hours Gaming League, then they get to donate $5,000 to the charity of their choosing. Let's go ahead and hop on in to game number 4. We're in the north position. If you want Team Epic, the medical systems company, to take the win, then give your most powerful tendon-flaring fist pump of all time. For Team Epic, it is USKC. Yeah! Woo! Yeah! And down in the south position, his team came to an early lead with Caesar's incredible 2-base PVZ play. They desperately need to put a win on the map to tie it back up. If you'd like them to do it, then give a cheer for the Zerg superhero Storm, who no doubt is a Class 5 mutant. We see, interestingly, whoa, an extremely early gas going down by Storm. What do we have here? What is the story behind this from Storm? Is this an extractor trick gone wrong? An extractor trick where it actually ended up finishing? Or is this some sort of ultra early mega giga cheese? Is he going to try to do some sort of Baneling play that gets him 12 Banelings right at the start of the game? In the meantime, it looks like USKC is just droning and droning and droning and droning. But will he be owning? We'll never know. There's the, ooh. There's the, oh wait. It looks like he may have tried to make a heart with rally points, and we missed it! Oh, how embarrassing! Oh no, the deep regret that I feel. I just want you to know that I feel that and stuff. And it looks like USKC, oh my god, balls of steel, cojones of brass. Seriously, like adamantium genitals. This guy is incredible. He saw the early pool. He saw the early gas. He's going hatch, double drone. Then, for that spawning pool, what an incredible hero. But I'm really interested in what we're going to see Twitter Storm do. Looks like he has thrown down the early Zergling speed. This is a hyper early Zergling speed variant. Look at that. The Queen coming down a little bit delayed from that. That is nuts! Holy crap, a fast freaking Zergling speed in USKC! Looks like he's just claiming, yeah, it's Metalopolis. And what? And what? We'll find out and what he has in store. Typical timing for an expand after you do this is around 4 minutes. That's generally the timing of it. But I mean, wow, this is just so freaking unbelievably early. And there's the instant spine crawler, and it looks like USKC knows the pressure he's going to be under, immediately builds a Baneling nest. There is the somewhat slightly delayed hatch, delayed by about 15 seconds. Will he target the spine crawler? It looks like he is going to target the spine crawler. He's going to be forcing a cancel here. It's going to have to be canceled. Yes, USKC does manage to plant down the cancel. Tries to throw down a geyser to save the drone, a nice little micro maneuver. And now we also see, wow, an incredible pick. Very nice job right there by Storm. Really smart play. And he is already done with speed. Gosh, that's really, really fast. Such a smart move to target the eggs. So that way when the things pop out, he can surround them promptly. With that speed, he's able to pick off a couple of Zerglings, and it looks like the Queen stepping into the action. But with that Zergling speed, he also gets a much better arc in the Units Lost tab. Look at that micro. Only 3 Zerglings have fallen, but this might be somewhat of a bad engagement for the Twitter Zerg. Storm playing very, very clever. Still a little bit behind on drones. There we see a pair of Banelings going down. And how will Twitter Storm follow this up? His name is Storm. He's on Team Twitter, but I just love saying Twitter Storm, like it's some sort of spell in a new media wizard game. I'm going to cast Twitter Storm after I do lightning status update. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. It's got to be careful because the Banelings are down. I repeat, the banelings are down. Zergling speed is coming up now for USKC down in the south. You see the Zerglings are starting to retreat. Twitter Storm starting to build his spine crawler. Starting to drone up a bit. He's going to have to be very careful when his opponent starts to get Zerglings with speed. In addition to those banelings, a push from USKC is going to spell complete doom for Storm. Zerglings trying to poke their way in. And look at this. It looks like he isolates a group of Zerglings. He's got to be careful. Oh, those Zerglings at the bottom get a little bit caught off guard. But he does manage to do some good damage to some drones there. Looks like he's killed off 3 total, so in that unit counting station. Slowly the drone edge is going to Storm from the Southlands, who's adding on a baneling nest of his own. That way he can deal with any sort of counter swing, but USKC has proved fairly resilient. He may have been leaving his units in gas a little bit too long. We see 250 gas, but no real way to spend it. But with that Zergling speed finishing up from USKC, he might make a counter push with a big swell of banelings. At the same time, it looks like Storm getting his layer up. Storm is playing just brilliantly, and the defense from USKC is equally brilliant. Looks like Storm now starting to try to pull back, just trying to do a nice little dance. No second gas coming up from Storm. He might be going Mutalisks. He might even just follow it up with some standard Roach play, but there's the Zergling swell from USKC. A dangerous play, as now we see the Baneling nest has finished. As long as there's a good amount of Banelings out for Storm, he's going to be fine. Even a single Baneling placed at a good angle is going to be more than enough. There, the Zergling Baneling numbers start to swell up. Whoa! 14 Banelings coming up. Keep in mind, the best counter to Banelings is more Banelings. And with that layer now finishing up, Storm will be able to start his Spire very soon. It's looking very good for the Twitter Zerg player. But, oh, some big hits there for USKC. A huge hit there for the blue Zerg. And there, oh, in the midst of all the exchanges, the question is, who came out on top of the aftermath? Wow, 9 drones killed off 22 workers on the field for the Zerg player in the south. But with the Spire coming up very soon, Storm is going to seize an incredible advantage. He just has to make sure he builds enough Banelings for defense. It looks like these 3 should be more than enough. This one probably needs to go hang out on the high ground, and the geysers must go down. The geysers must go down. The geysers must go down. Layer now. Excuse me, Spire now. 40 out of 100. 1 more minute until they pop on out. USKC getting his Roach Warren. Evolution Chamber going down, so that way he can get that plus upgrade. Is he taking his 3rd? Very nice play. He sees that his opponent doesn't have any more Zerglings coming across. Oh, they scouted us! They scouted us! They see the layers done, and that's going to be a little bit of a whoopsie-doopsie daisies, and a big time to freak out time. He better not let that Baneling run into that Zergling. Yeah, not so good. But Twitter Storm will be throwing units into his gas geyser, and when those Mutalisks pop out, he's going to have a good map control. He needs to put pressure on that 3rd base right away. Hell, even just picking off all the Overlords would prove very, very solid. But we're seeing in that food tab, in that good old army tab, really very low army supply for the Twitter player. USKC from Team Epic is playing a standard Zerg vs. Zerg extremely well. The Hydralisk Den going down for USKC to help defend him against that. But oh no, all the pressure that was going on at the start of the game has left USKC a little bit stilted for gas. He has almost no resources. It's so funny, we always think of the Mutalisking player as the one to focus on the gas geysers, get those geysers up early so you can get your Mutalisk count high. But USKC is suffering from the exact same problem. He desperately needs to get those Hydralisks up, but does not quite have the gas to do so. Storm now moving up. Waltzing right by all these Overlords, these free juicy kills. He's going to see if he can get some big damage done to the heart of this base. Are there any Hydralisks at all out? No. USKC in a huge bind. It looks like he will lose that queen in the main base. All the drones start to run. If he picks off even 3 or 4 of those drones, that would be a big win. And there he's picking off the queens. 2 queens down. Can he pick off more drones? Can he get any vital tech structure? We see 4 Hydrals popping out right now. But the drones are on the run, and this is exactly what Storm needed to step back into the game. This is exactly what he hoped. Baneling's also a great target. Literally anything that dies fast is going to be his ideal goal. But he needs to look out. The Hydralisk deal damage so quickly, and with those Spore Crawlers finishing up, it looks like his Mutalisk count is down to 3. We see 6 Mutalisk total on the field. And that expansion at the top left is now going to be the next target. My gosh, Hydras deal damage quickly. And there we have more Mutalisk coming on in. Roaches also. Ooh, a nice follow-up from Storm. Looks like he's building a good chunk of Roaches to try to help reinforce and make sure he doesn't die to some sort of counterplay. They're fairly even in the worker count, but we do see that it's now a 10 drone lead. It looks like 10 workers have been killed off. That's 7 since the early game started. That Spore Crawler does finish up. Can he pick it off without taking too much damage from the Hydras? He did take a pretty good brunt. And oh no, USKC is going to run into a trap. We have so many Roaches to Storm there at the front. Looks like he outnumbers USKC by a little bit. And with that attack said and done, even though speed is out for USKC and he can retreat, we have all these Mutalisks on the field that are going to be able to pick off 1, 2, 3 Overlords. Anything that he can do to continue to get that lead. In that unit's loss tab, we see it's starting to get more and more red. But Storm needs to be careful. He needs to get these Overlords down. These are free kills that it looks like he's a little bit too overeager to dodge and go for the juicier targets in the main. Ooh, a couple of Hydrals do get caught off guard. Nice little control thing. Ooh! Picks off the Baneling. Nifty. Getting quite high in that gas tab Storm. Has not yet transitioned to anything like the Infestor. Has not continued to build these Mutalisks. Is getting map control with these Mutalisks. Making sure that there's no contention over the watchtowers. Has some nice vision coverage, and they're finally picking off the Overlords. Has to be careful not to just take this gold right under his opponent's nose. Right now, USKC has the upgrade lead. He does have the 1-0 upgrade, and interestingly, we see the melee upgrade going down. Second Evo Chamber is done. Perhaps we're going to see Twitter Storm transition into some sort of later game Ultralisk, increasingly becoming a popular play in this matchup. As of course, fungal growth has no effect on the Ultralisk. Doesn't slow it down, does a little bit of damage, but very easy way to cut through all that stuff. But we're seeing Twitter Storm just not spend his gas. He's going for this gold. That'll be a way for him to get more minerals, but what is he going to do with the gas? There we have the Infestor popping up right now. A little bit of a bold play by Twitter Storm. Oh no! Oh, and he loses all the Mutalisks. USKC with a big win right there. That Hydra count is very high right now. 14 Hydralisks on the map. 29 for Twitter Storm. Speed is done, but there are no upgrades for those indigenous ranged units. And now USKC doing a little bit of Overlord cleaning of his own. This is a really back and forth game. But we see that the army supply advantage does go to the blue player Storm. Is this another expansion coming up? 2 bases now added for USKC. +1 armor, spines, infestation pit. USKC is just doing the transition to the standard late game. But this is going to be a brutal late game for Storm if he ends up getting all of these infestors up. He needs to wait a little bit longer. Once you get to 30 seconds, then you can start the infestors. There it is. That way, when you start the infestors, they will pop out with 75 energy, and you can fungal growth right away. He needs to begin getting those infestors up. I cannot emphasize how critical this is. He's starting to move forward. Where are the infestors? Where are the infestors, Twitter Storm? Twitter Storm, the infestors, man. Where are your infestors, Twitter Storm? There's 7 infestors coming up right now. This is going to be very close. Twitter Storm sees the big push coming. USKC from Team Epic starting to move on in. Twitter Storm has a lot of those units. Does he even spot the gold? Oh my, he is not even going by that. Oh, and he spots the gold expansion. The creep betrayed everything that was going on, but we see that those infestors are not yet done. Upgrade lead does go to USKC. He has a bunch of Hydralisks doing damage to that hatchery. but not doing any of that damage to those roaches. So the roaches of the blue Twitter Zerg do push back. Burrowed to heal for a little bit, and he healed just enough. Layer now done for USKC. We don't see a Spire, so that likely means that he's going to be going Ultralisk Tech. Or he's just really desperate to get those adrenal gland upgrades. I will rue the day when ZVZ boils down to that. Also see the layer popping into a hive for Storm, and he does have the Spire up. And this attack is going to be nearly impossible to hold off USKC in that unit counting station. It's 47 roaches for blue versus 36 roaches and 13 hydras, but there are also the infestors and a pretty good fungal. Two pretty nice fungals go down. He's throwing down more. No infested Terrans popping up at this point. Twitter Storm continuing to throw down very nice fungals, and now we see that the full line of the blue roaches is starting to be eaten up. The hydras have just too high of a damage output, and amazingly, despite having that big lead with the infestors, it appears that USKC is the one who comes out on top. There, the hive almost done for Twitter Storm. Is he going to try to go for that greater Spire? Grooved Spine's coming. In the main base, we see that there's also the Tunneling Claws, not researched yet for USKC. This hive is done. He could go for Ultras, but he needs to start the Ultra Cavern. He could go for a Greater Spire, but he needs to start the Spire and then upgrade it to a Greater Spire. It looks like he's just going to be doing a strong layer tech push. Storm needs to hit some big fungals if he wants to win this. He's going to lose his gold again. A lot of drones here as well. Can he get the vulnerable units on the backside? He nabs a big chunk of the infestors. They both nab each other. Whoever's infestors kill the other ones first will likely come out on top. And it looks like Twitter Storm is the first to retreat. His gold expansion is going to be the one to fall. The Greater Spire nearing completion. Both players just holding that R key. What an odd game that we're seeing right now, but with that grooved spine upgrade, look at how quickly all those units heal. In the meantime, USKC still has a couple of damaged roaches. USKC with just overall better fundamentals might overrun this game. That would be a stunning, astounding comeback. Zerglings distracting in the main base side. Greater Spire done. A lot of gas to build Brood Wards, but a big impending threat coming up. The third expansion, oh no, the roaches were distracted. The third starting to take a big hit, and there's the step in of fungal. Oh, Twitter Storm, where did you get those roaches? Power overwhelming mode engaged for the blue Zerg, but at the same time, roaches target fire the natural. They take it down, USKC, targeting the Greater Spire, and the Greater Spire goes down. A big win for the red Zerg from Team Epic. USKC still has a couple of roaches ripping apart that third base. And now we see the burrow. What a painful burrow. 47 roaches to 17. All the roaches from Team Epic back home at the natural. There is nothing left. Incredible distraction tactics from USKC. Absolutely incredible comeback for USKC. The Spire units dealing so much damage. The Infestor's out for his opponent earlier. The Hive done. The Greater Spire on the way. And in an incredible series of decisions of where to move that roach army, how to burrow it, how to split it up, has managed to pull a nice comeback. But look at this. Those Corruptors aren't going to be of much use in a direct fight, but man, are they going to be doing some sick Overlord hunting. 2-1 upgrades versus 1-2 upgrades. Twitter Storm trying to pick off all those Overlords with USKC from Team Epic. Looks like he may have just a little bit too much up his sleeve. Looks like a little bit of Roach Burrow, Unburrow micro going on. Hydras start to get involved. Ooh, the Hydralisks that tip the tide of battle in that first Roach versus Fungal battle. And it looks like some nice Burrow, Unburrow micro, healing hundreds of extra hit points for all his Roaches combined in a short period of time, but he may have just gotten himself surrounded. There's just too many units coming out right now for USKC with that 5-base powerhouse macro style. He is continuing to just rally to the front, and wow! USKC pulls his team up to a, to a 3-1 lead. That means that Epic is just a single game away from taking the series. What a nuts series of control and macro we saw from USKC to pull that back. That was amazing. Wow. Well, I guess that means that we are going to be stepping on to match point in game number 5. That's very uncommon for a best of 7. Twitter needs to win 3 consecutive games. USKC needs to win only 1. We are currently almost done with the semifinal number 2, unless Twitter has a huge comeback in store. Find out if it's time to close the series or whether Twitter has a couple of strats up